our check-in. So we are recording, and it is Prosperity Plus 3. This is module number 5. We are talking about the laws of compensation and non-resistance tonight. Today is December 18th, and it's kind of a busy, crazy time of year, at least in my world. But what I wanted to do, like we usually do, is start with just a couple check-ins, wins, ahas, to just sort of gather the energy and give people a few more moments to join in. And then we'll do our opening prayer, and then we'll jump right into the material tonight, which, again, is really fabulous. So, who has a win, an aha, a change they'd like to share? Russ, you were on vacation, right?
I was on vacation, yes.
How was your vacation?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. You don't have vacation time.
Last time I knew you were on vacation, it was in Hawaii. So did you repeat that vacation?
No, we went to Sarasota and Orlando. So
oh, nice.
We tried to do a little beach, but it was a little cold for beach, so we had to make do elsewise. And then we went to Orlando and did the Universal Studios and the parks, and just for big kids.
Awesome.
Which that to me would be a takeaway for me. For anybody that's ever done the Forbidden Journey, which is a Harry Potter ride there, you fly in that ride, and it feels so lifelike. And to me, the experience of flying when your mind is telling you that you can't be flying, but everything else about you feels like you're flying, your eyes, your senses, all of that. And to me, there's something about that equates to the work we're doing here, because a part of me doesn't quite believe it. So we're working at addressing that part. But the rest of me, the more I can align with that, the more I can to be in that moment, in that experience, that I absolutely can fly. And I think in some ways the work we're doing here is helping us fly, helping us let go of that belief that's anything other than the experience we want, because I most certainly loved flying in that ride.
That's so great. And excuse me, we're looking at the law of non-resistance tonight, so that might tie right in. But I love that. I love that sense, because we are, as we're raising our vibration to that which is not visible yet, right? Not soaring energetically, vibrationally. Okay, I've just added, I was writing that down. It's now on my bucket list for the time that we're in Orlando coming up. So we'll have to go to that. That was at Universal Studios?
That's at the Isle of Adventure. So, you know, the Universal Studios and Isle of Adventure are both Universal, but they sit next to each other. They're two separate parks.
Okay, cool. That's a great share. That's a great takeaway. And you'll be able to, as you're working your vision, remember how it felt to fly on that ride.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. Mona, how are you doing this week? Ahas, takeaways, wins?
Last week we were talking about the kamikaze move. And so I was going to, my plan, I did what I said I was going to do. I went to this place a couple of blocks down, it's like a creative place where they do arts and crafts. And so I went there and gave them the article I wrote and my business card to see if we can do a collaboration of like some vision workshop, vision boards, or and where I can then talk about the Dream Builder program, doing the work of the Dream Builder program. And so I did that. I had a session with someone who was interested in it, and that went. She doesn't want to start it, but she is interested, and I had a really good experience doing that. So I'm proud of that myself. And then I had another thing come up, which was more like, what do you do when something comes up when it's not so great? And I came through it I had to put the pause button on, you know. I had a mammogram and they called me back to do another mammogram with more views. And then I had to like maybe get an ultrasound. And I was kind of nervous because it has run in the family. But I tried to really like work on the vision of being healthy and the truth that we're healthy. And anyway, I had it yesterday, and then it's not like any kind of tumor or anything. So that worked out really well. So that's been my week so far.
Yeah. Well, good for you for hitting the pause button and not going down the rabbit, right? But just like the next step and so
yeah, what's good in it? Yeah.
Well, congratulations and good job. And I'll say to you and anybody, if you ever get caught in a bump or you need to just process or like I feel like I want to dive, I can't hit my own pause button, contact me. You've all got my text number, you've all got my email, so reach out.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, Nadia, how are you doing? What's going on for you?
I'm good. Similar to Simone, I had to purposely hit the pause button because remember last week I said I just felt like I was on a hamster wheel. This week I had said, no, I can't do that hamster wheel thing again. So I practice, which is something I usually do once I get to my desk. I take a few deep breaths and just take a few moments just to say, you know, what I'm grateful for. And also the persons who are demanding things of me, I was saying no and not feeling bad about it.
Nice. And how does that, other than not feeling bad about that, does that feel that can become your new pattern?
Well, yes, it will have to be because my dream depends on it. I was reading as well the last one that was the law of receiving, I think, the law of receiving.
Yes.
And it was talking about always having praise be on your lips, Psalm 150. And so I've been trying to practice that in everything, just to give praise until it becomes my habit. But it's a real struggle sometimes because as you begin to praise, there are situations that come up to block that. So I'm being more aware of that.
Yeah, it's like that first force, second force, isn't it? You have a big expansion.
Yeah.
Like the subconscious, right? Our thermostat says, whoa, wait, stop. You're at your limit. Let's lower you down, right?
Right.
So what I've been playing in this week is because I've had a big expansion and I'm in a next few months, sort of a big expansive inexperience thing. So I was like in my meditation, walking to my wall and upping my thermostat. Like I was really using that to go, okay, I'm at my upper limit. I can feel it. And for me, all my energy will get wonky, or I'll get a cold, or I'll get some anxiety about something. Like I can feel when I hit my upper limit. So I'm like, oh, here I am. Oh, how cool is that? Walk to my wall, turn up my thermostat, raise my norm up a level, right?
Right.
To just keep continuing to expand, but doing it very consciously.
Right.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So since we've been checking in, let's see, Terry's calling in. We got a couple of wonky. Leila's working late. I'm not sure about Sophia. Janelle can't make it tonight, so we've got a little interesting. So let me just have, please call in. I think she's done that before. All right, and I'm going to start us with a opening prayer, and then we will jump right into the materials. Let me just shoot Sophia. Oh, she knew that. Yeah. In class. You know, it was risky to put this in the middle of the holiday season, but we went for it anyway, so here we are. All right. Take a breath in. Close your outer eye. Your outer eyes. And feel the shares tonight. The sense of flying, the power of hitting the pause button before I panic. Putting myself first, saying no in order to say yes, because your dream depends on it. And allow your full awareness to drop now down into this very moment. Feel your body. And bring to mind that dream, that one that you know, the one that you're learning to articulate, and maybe even expand that to the dream that you're not even quite aware of. And feel yourself climbing on that ride like Russ talked about. But this is the ride of your very own dream. Unbuckling your buckle and hitting that start button or hitting that quantum leap button and feel that ride taking you from where you are 3 years in the future to living every aspect of your dream. Your health is perfect. Your strength and flexibility and vitality and feeling good in your body is higher than it's ever been. Your relationships are healthier and more vibrant and more alive and more filled with kindness and love and compassion than ever before. Your vocation, you love everything you're doing. And your time and money freedom, feel what it feels like to have mastered time and money freedom. Like time and money are no longer issues in your life. You have all that you need. And you have had now for a few years as we land in 2021. And feel how it feels to be flying through your days, through your weeks, through your work, through your months. And just memorize that frequency, that vibration that is your dream. And even from that expanded place, turn your thermostat up a little bit more. Feel that dream. Feel that ride taking you another 2 or 3 years in the future. And everything that you can't even begin to imagine today is opening up for you. And feel that frequency and that vibration and that possibility. It's in that expanded place that we start tonight's class. Open and receptive to the living spirit of truth, bringing a beginner's mind into the stories and the principles and the practices. We pray together. And so it is. And so we begin. Awesome. All right. You see Terry joined us. Thanks for getting in, Terry. That's great. All right. So tonight is the laws of compensation and the law of non-resistance. So we're going to look at change as an inside job. We're going to look at, do we want our dream enough to have a phase change? We're going to look at self-image and compensation, and of course, a bit about resistance. And so we're going to just jump right in and let Mary take us away.
You will do amazing things.
Prosperity Plus 3, Living Full Spectrum Wealth. This is lesson number 5. Our 2 laws that we're focusing on out of Working with the Law with Raymond Hollowell are the law of compensation and the law of non-resistance. So Raymond Hollowell, in his essays on these different laws, in the essay on the law of compensation, he says success or prosperity does not need to be made. It already is. It always is. We have to get in alignment with it. And then he quotes Emerson, and he said, the key to every man is his thought or her thought. So welcome to Prosperity Plus 3, an exercise and experiment in living full spectrum wealth, where we recognize and make welcome wealth in every area of our life. Since we're going to create results anyway, why not create results that we're absolutely in love in? Because there's a power in each and every one of us that it's far greater than any circumstance, any situation, and any condition. And we partner with that power. It moves the mountains of those circumstances. It transforms those situations, and it completely brings into place what it is that we're in harmony with. So again, welcome to Prosperity Plus 3. Napoleon Hill said, every thought, this is after years of research with highly successful people, he says, every thought that is highly revered or greatly feared begins immediately to clothe itself in the most convenient substance possible. So for a moment, as we notice what we're noticing, we can notice what thoughts we have been in love with, ideas, visions for ourselves, our dream, our vision that we've written for our life, and what thoughts or ideas perhaps we've been fearing, something that we fear might happen or something we fear might not happen. In the vision, as you wrote it, I'd encouraged you to make sure you used words for what you did want and not words for what you didn't want. In essence, we were not saying, I am now free of debt, because the subconscious hears the word debt. I am now free of pain, because the subconscious hears the word pain. And it resonates with the image we give it and amplifies that through our own energy. So we're writing words like, I love the freedom I feel in my body, the stamina, the strength, the energy, the aliveness, the zip. I love looking at my incoming accounts and seeing those growing and growing, and my outgoing accounts at 0 at the end of each and every month, that all things are current in my life. That we speak those words. Every thought that is greatly feared or greatly revered. So that's why it's so important, as we're noticing what we're noticing, that we're feeding the thoughts that are expansive. We're feeding the ideas that are expansive, and we're removing our energy from ideas and thoughts that are contractive, because our energy is the key. The key to every man is his thought or her thought. So we're pouring life with our thought into the ideas that we decide to focus on. So here we are, Prosperity Plus 3, living full spectrum wealth. Now, our self-image, we talked before about the self-image being like a thermostat to how much good we can allow, how much fun we can have, how much money we will allow to stay in our life. And almost all of us have had experiences where we allowed some more good in our life and then we shut it down. And we had stories about why it shut down. It was something outside of ourselves, usually, is the reason that it occurred. But deep down, as we become more aware now through the experiment in living full spectrum wealth, we begin to recognize that the place to change our result really does start inside. The ideas that we think and the ideas we talk about to ourselves, that inner chatter that goes on. So a number of years, psychologists said that the average person speaks to themselves 76% of the time. There's a chatter going on. And if we don't notice what we're noticing, we don't even notice what that chatter is. And the amplitude or the vibration of that chatter is 76% of the time. It's emitting a vibration that's interacting and transacting with this invisible, infinite spirit who's going to absolutely have perfect hearing and seeing, and it's going to reflect it back to us in things that look like they're out there, but actually they're connected to the transmission we're giving through the vibration of our thought. My first mentor came into my life in 1987. I had wonderful teachers. I'd studied with Raymond Hollowell for 2 full years, and I had studied all of this from 1971. And in 1987, I was stuck. I had traveled the country in 1980 and 81, spoken in 100 different New Thought churches, gone back to Oregon, begun my own work. It was very, very small in the beginning. I had, first week, there were 22 people there. Second week, there were 8 people. In the first week, it was people who came to say, cheer you on, go ahead. Family, friends, extended friends, they gathered people together. And then it was my husband, my children, a couple of people, and it grew from there. And after 5 years, we were at 50 people on a good Sunday, 40 people, 35 people, and I just couldn't get it to move. And I heard about a man who was doing amazing work in his ministry. Now, the why this matters to you, this story, is your dream is at a different frequency than the result you currently have. And the question is, how do I change my result when I think that the reason I have the result are things outside of me? And even though I had studied this, it's very difficult to look at a picture when you're the one inside the frame. That's why having a teacher, having a mentor, having someone who help you see is so helpful. I didn't know that. I just thought, well, I want to go hear this man speak. His name was Jack Boland. He and a woman named Peggy Bassett and an amazing woman also named Johnny Coleman were doing a church growth and development seminar in 1987. It was in Chicago. It seemed to take everything I had to get there, actually stay in a hotel, which was not something I did in those days. And I stay in the hotel, attend this 3-day seminar, or didn't do very much anyway. And first night Jack Boland spoke. I didn't want his work, I wanted my version of a large work. I wanted a work that really helped a lot of people and had impact and difference making in it. And I heard him speak and I just knew that he knew some things that I didn't know. So I stood in line a long time to talk to him, have him sign, what he was signing that night. And then I asked him, actually I kind of begged him to have breakfast with me the next morning. And he said, I can't have breakfast with you.
All right, so why do you think your dream hasn't manifested yet, even as you're moving towards it? Like, just notice what you notice about that. Just feel into that question, like when Mary was asked, why hasn't it grown? So like, well, it's the chairs and it's the advertising and it's the room and it's that. What are the reasons that you're telling yourself that your dream hasn't manifested it? And so just breathe into that for me. You have everything. We all have everything within ourselves. We have access to every single thing we need to manifest the dream. But you have to get out of the outer, right? Out of the habit and addictions of being who you are and being the person who isn't living the dream. You have to begin to forget who you've been and lean more into who you are becoming. Like who you are becoming, present tense. Like, what does it feel like, right? Like we did in our opening prayer. Like it did when we do our visioning, when we lean into the vibration and the frequency of that. We have to memorize that. We have to become more interested in that on a regular basis than the stories we tell ourselves, the excuses, the habits, the addictions that we've had all along. They say, well, I really, really have this dream, but, I'm kind of tired today, so I think I'm, whatever the noise is, right? And that's where the quantum comes in. Mary doesn't use the word quantum, but she talks about the art and science, right? But when we align with the frequency of who we are becoming, when we align with the frequency of what we most desire, then it has to manifest. It has to, if we align with it and hold that frequency. And we can touch it and then forget about it. That's not going to work quite so well. But that's the quantum, that's the magic of the quantum. We have to be different. One of my favorite lines right now is you're never going to get what you wish for until you be different. And once you be different, then you do different. Because it's not magic, and it's totally magic. It is much more science than woo-woo magic. So, why do you think your dream hasn't manifested? Anybody want to share? You were like, no. Yeah, Simona.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm unmuted. I think it's getting closer though, but it's not to expect that people are gonna respond to say what I'm putting out. So it's like I'm putting out the energy that nobody's gonna call me, you know. For me it's getting clients, so it's like they and then the failure of success, how am I gonna do this? So but I'm working on shifting this, so where I'm working on like that I get the packages ready, and I mean for the people, like to welcome them into, you know, my life, and that it's happening. More people are calling, but what it's been holding back is that I've not been doing that. So like not picking up the phone when the phone is ringing, you know, because there's all these phone calls that come in and they put, you know, so it's not it's like holding off, in the frequency of holding off. So changing it into like the calls are coming in and picking up every phone call that comes in, even
Right.
though they're like marketing people or whatever, you know. So
Right,
but it's
but doing that in an energy of, this might be a client.
yeah.
Like, and what if it takes 100 calls and then the client calls in, but you're in the habit of, right?
Yeah, and it's like in the habit of like not picking up and also not wanting to answer phone calls. So it's like I know now, getting the energy, like, oh, these calls are coming in. So now there's a call, you know, I'm gonna pick it up, and that's, you know, that's where I need to go more. Actually, where I need to go, like, oh, there's another call. I can answer the phone call now, and not a call, and it's like an opportunity to answer a phone call, and that's what I need to get also to get more people in my life. So it's like welcoming the calls and answering like them with happiness, and
If I may, then take it a step further and really feel like, how does it feel to be like completing packages with clients? Like I just completed, right? Like really take the next step further, right?
Yeah, and it's like getting them all together and have them sit there. They sit waiting to be picked up. That's why, you know, have them ready. I have a little baggie with like a stone and, you know, whatever it is, a book and a thing, and, you know, and get them ready, and they set out already to be picked up.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. So a lot of awareness there. Like you're moving in that direction, and you have some awareness of some other things that you could do.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, we're going to go into the next part of the video.
Well, my work didn't just grow a little bit that year after.
So there's a whole lot going on in the story that continues in a few moments, but we wanted to stop it here and ask the question, where in your dream are you saying it's going to take 10 years? I have several things. That's part of why I love the 3-year in advance, because I can bypass my logic and my thinking mind. But I'm thinking, oh yeah, in 10 years I'll be here. And just like Jack said to Mary, why put a 10-year limit on it? Why not this year? You know, like let yourself be sort of, oh, what if that could really happen this year? And then the other question that I want you to just consider is, where and what have your dark nights of the soul been? Now there's different layers. For some of us, we've gone through excruciating dark nights of the soul, and they've really like knocked us down for months or years. And for others of us, it's shorter time. It's like I don't want to say there's major and there's minor, but there's kind of major and there's minor. Like I've had several real dark nights of the soul. And then I've had these, you know, sort of momentary dark nights. It's like, oh yeah, I'm totally in a dark night, but I wasn't in that one that, you know, lasted 9 months that one time. Right? So just think about that. And what did you do on your Saturday? What was the thing that that was being prepared in you? It's like the caterpillar, right? That turns to mush. When you are in mush, when you are the gunk of the dissolved caterpillar before the butterfly begins to form, what's happening in you? What are the lessons that are being learned? What are the muscles that are being strengthened? What are the awarenesses that are beginning to grow? And sometimes there's more space between the ending and the beginning than we like. And so if you happen to be in a space, a gap, know that it doesn't have to be excruciating. It doesn't have to be long, but there does have to be a transformation in there. So past or present, what are you doing on your Saturdays? I don't mean in your week, I mean in your life. When you're in the tomb, when you're dissolving, where you're becoming muck and mush and gunk, right? So just consider that. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right back in. If you want to share anything about that, about your dark night, or about what you're keeping in 10 years, go ahead and just put it in the chat. And then we'll get to that after the next video. And here we go. So wasn't that also very rich with lessons, with opportunities, with new ideas? Think about, well, first I want to celebrate. I know Mary a long time, and that her debt to her congregation was weighed heavy on her for some time, and she was always there. It was always there. And so I just celebrate. It was just in the last few months that is completely and totally paid off. And I just think that's amazing and thrilling and exciting, not only for her, but also for these principles and these practices that we have. And it also just frees so much energy. So as we get ready to tithe, to make our tithe for tonight, let me go ahead and put that in the chat room. Several of you, missed last week for one reason or another, and some of you are missing this week for some reason or another. So be sure to tithe your full amount. Every week is best, but if you missed, just go ahead and double that up, and that's then we'll just keep that in the flow and in integrity within our commitment. So step number 3, she just went over 5 steps. So step number 3 was really practice loving circulation. And so we know that ideas are the first currency of the universe. And as we invite a greater flow of ideas, that puts us in the energy and vibration of abundance. And so we open ourselves to receive to greater ideas, to unexpected ideas, to blessings expected and unexpected, especially in this Christmas season, the season of giving and the season of receiving. Every single source of your financial abundance, it began as an idea. And lean into receiving the quantified level of abundance of ideas. And as you do that, practice loving circulation, both receiving money, income, gifts, ideas, and love your giving. Love your giving in the holiday season. Love your giving in this process of being a giver and a receiver, expanding the circulation. Put on the vibration of being the person who loves giving, being the person, put on the vibration frequency of somebody who can tithe, somebody who's already tithing, let's say 100-fold from what we're tithing now. Like, how does that feel? Like, ooh, yeah. So as we love the practice of circulation, we say with a grateful heart, I give freely and receive abundantly. With a grateful heart, I give freely and receive abundantly. One more time together. With a grateful heart, I give freely and receive abundantly. So go ahead and click that tithe button, and I'm going to put on a piece of music for a moment. Let me go back. Hold on. Okay.
Accept permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission, I will, to be all I can be. I give myself permission, I will, to live passionate and free. I give myself permission.
Alrighty. Awesome. Welcome, Sally. We've had a lot of in and out tonight. Sally's made it. Thank you. Sophia was here for a moment. Terry had to go. So thank you all for being here as much as possible. A couple of things I wanted to speak into that last, or one of the last things that Mary said about a demand note on the universe. If anything that's lost or stolen or taken from you, and this is just a personal, I'm just going to say it out loud because it's been the most puzzling thing of all. Just before, about a month before we came back to Arizona, we had some company, and I'm not blaming any of my company, but when they left, I have 4 spoons missing out of my normal set of 8 cutlery. Like, I have it exactly how it is, and 4 spoons, half of my spoons are missing. So I am just saying to you all that, and yes, it bothers me, and my daughter and everybody else, like, get over it, Mom. I'm like, I want my spoons back. Whatever, right? So I'm saying to you all that I'm putting a demand note on the universe that my spoons are recovered, or they show up from wherever they may be hiding, because they've been hiding for quite some time. So when she was saying that, I hadn't thought about it before when I just cracked myself up. So I wanted to share that. And ask for your support in the delivery, the return, the finding of my spoons. Okay, so next week is Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. The following week is New Year's. We skipped 2 weeks, but I'm going to have an email all set to go out. I'll probably go out the day after Christmas and the day after New Year's. And I encourage you, and I'll have a practice, or I'll have something special in there for you, to stay in the energy of the class. The risk is that we lose our momentum. We don't want to do that. We've still got 2 more really, really fabulous classes with Mary coming up. So even though we're stretching the time, there's no time and space. So stay in your vision, stay in your practice of your daily work, stay in your practice of tithing, and stay in your practice of putting on being a giver of divine ideas, a giver of time and talent, as well as treasure. So we have just a couple of moments left here, but I want to just open it up. If Sally, you would like to just put your voice in, just so that we can hold you tonight, just briefly, not the full story, but just briefly, and then we'll do a checkout with the other people who are still on the line.
Thank you.
Yes,
Well,
welcome.
In alignment with the last segment that we just heard Mary speak on, I was at the Cleveland Art Museum earlier today, and I was studying and looking at the life and work of Georgia O'Keeffe. And what I recognize about Georgia O'Keeffe is she lived in the flow of abundance. She did not skimp. She did not sell out. If she had a vision, she painted it full out and big, and she painted it into her life. And so I walked out of that museum and I thought, I'm going to live like Georgia O'Keeffe. And sometimes we have a person that shows up to mentor to us that's like, she was my size and she was a little bit different than the status quo, and she marched to her own drum and sang her own song, and I thought, I'm just going to do that now. So I loved the notes that I've taken 5 pages of notes in 30 minutes. And so I'm just grateful that y'all held the space so that I could get here safely. All is well. And I won't go into the story. My mom and I had a little accident on the way home, and it wasn't our fault, but our car was, my mother's car was hurt. So we're fine. Yeah.
And we hold with you that fine and more fine. And we also know that the healing presence of spirit moves in and through to release any stiffness or soreness or anything like that, and get yourself taken care of and checked out, and chiropractic, right, Russ? And massage and all the things that you need to do so that you don't freeze up in reaction to a little accident.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
All right, ahas, takeaways, big wins. What would you like to share? We'll hear from Russ, and then Simona, then Nadia.
I don't know if the specific takeaway, meaning the statements and the things that I heard Mary say tonight, but I can feel that part of me that's more into the expansive side, that why do I think that it has to take a certain amount of steps? Why do I think that I can't fly? You know, what's that restriction there? And thus turning that and looking at, instead of the face of the restriction and the constriction, but the face of the expansive side. That has a feeling nature to it. So I'm trying to describe a feeling to it.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm taking away tonight.
Awesome. And you can borrow my belief, and I would love to borrow yours, that it doesn't have to take years, right? It can happen now. Yeah. Awesome. Simona. Thanks, Russ.
So what's coming up for me? Not to resist anything, like that things are, and that not to resist anything. And and then what really comes up is to be grateful. Like if I stay in a state of being grateful, like every morning wake up and I'm like, I'm so happy I'm here, and you know, and stay in the energy of being grateful, and also be generous in giving, that I stay in that energy, and that gives me the power, that is powerful, and that gives me the power to stay in connection with the nature of abundance. So then it just makes me feel good, and then things will come to me also, and it's just like a circle. Just staying grateful. I think being grateful for just that's just really important to me that comes up.
Yeah.
So be grateful.
Yeah, gratitude is a very high frequency, and it is there's a quote that says something like, gratitude is the proof that it's coming to being. Like grateful for what you don't see, like grateful for what you have, for sure. Grateful for that which you're wanting that hasn't come yet. Like, guarantees it's on its way. I didn't say that very well, but it's in this.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Nadia.
Hi, my takeaway to work on this week is to release the how. Don't get caught up in the how. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. All right. Well, these next 2 weeks are the perfect opportunity to review what we've already done, to listen to the audios. If you haven't stayed caught up in the workbook, get into the workbook. If you've gotten behind in the reading of Hollywell's book, it's a great time to really immerse, and then we'll be all caught up and ready to jump in next time we gather, which is 2 weeks from tonight. And we're going to do the laws of forgiveness and sacrifice. I think are fascinating that they're lined up together. So we get to just like immerse in what we've done up until now so that we're ready to kick in right at the first of the year. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to email me, text me. I'm around most of the holidays, pretty accessible. So Merry Christmas, and thank you all for being here, and Happy New Year. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye, everyone.
Bye.